Hey guys, Dov here with another battle for Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer. We're here with the High Elves, going to be taking on the Foul Warriors of Chaos, so let's get to it here. We've got Teclis leading the way, 2 Handmaidens and a Star Dragon, 4 Spearmen, 2 White Lions, including the Regiment of Renown Puremain Company, plus 4 units of Reavers, 2 here and 2 hidden in the far forest. As for our chaotic opponents here, we've got some Chaos Poison Warhounds, looks like Chaos Knights with Lances, Forsaken, Marauders, we've got 3 units of Spawn, Big Bird in the center, and some more Hounds and Forsaken out on the far side. So I'm going to concentrate my forces kind of on the side of this little pavilion thing here. That is going to just kind of zone out a lot of these Chaos forces that are out on the far side, and just through positioning we can kind of keep them from playing a major part in the battle, at least during the initial phase here. Nice charge from these Illyrian Reavers. Even though we are charging into the woods, it's not going to be the best, but still, Forsaken are pretty squishy. Besides their armor, they have low defense and health. We do get countercharged here by some Chaos Knights and some Spawn. Here comes the Star Dragon, though. Gonna throw a direct down breath right on top of these Chaos Knights, just roasting quite a few of them, and then immediately dropping down into combat. If you take a look up on the high ground, you can see the Spearmen have been engaged by some Marauders and Spawn in various places. The Big Bird himself, Sarthrel the Everwatcher, gets netted here, and keep in mind that Teclis has Kindle Flames, so every time I cast a spell I'm going to be getting a damage spike, particularly on the Star Dragon, but also on the Handmaiden's ranged attacks. You can see both the Handmaidens get into combat here with the Everwatcher, and here comes Teclis. Fiery Convocation Bound does a ton of damage to those Marauders. You can see the Reavers over on the far side here getting engaged on some of those Poison Warhounds. We've got some more Chaos Knights with Lances up on the high ground there. But so far, we've been able to break up this side pretty effectively. These Knights took a ton of damage. We did lose some of our Reavers, but that's fine. Spearmen fighting very well against the Spawn, and now the Star Dragon can try and pull away. You can see Big Bird is just getting absolutely beat up here. He's going to throw an Overcast Final Transmutation, it looks like. Or just a regular Final Transmutation will do a decent amount of damage to those Handmaidens, considering they're single models, but of course Teclis has healing. We're going to throw a Regrowth on the one Handmaiden that's taken a little bit of damage, and here we can get a great situation on Big Bird. He's isolated himself, he just has these Chaos Knights for support, and they're not going to be enough against a Star Dragon and 2 Handmaidens. Plus Teclis runs in, doesn't have the Sword of Teclis active, but he's here also to try and do as much as he can. And yeah, man, just look at Big Bird getting pounded here, Enfeebling Foe on him, and of course that Kindle Flame also was briefly active. Big Bird does just squeak away there with about 500 HP left, but took a ton of damage there in that Star Dragon. Meanwhile, more Searing Dooms over here, breaking up some of my forces. You can see the White Lions taking some significant damage. Those Spearmen also not long for this world, but the Reavers here in the woods can now get into a position to threaten this back line. It's going to keep these Chaos Knights with Lances from really cycle charging into this engagement too much, where they can then make a difference. Yeah, Reavers trying to clean up tattered units wherever they are to be found. Over here, we've got some more Spawn and Forsaken. Can mop them up with some of those spears potentially. But yeah, with the Chaos Knights mostly being dealt with, the Handmaidens are relatively free. They can switch to ranged mode and just start to pick away at these Chaos Spawn from a distance. They do magic damage, so shooting at Big Bird is going to be basically pointless since he has both missile and magic resistance, but you can see the Reavers trying to pull away here, as this is not a great engagement for them, but they're still going to get caught up by some of these Chaos Knights and some of the Spawn. The Star Dragon trying to make its way over here to get into a supporting position, but at least the Handmaidens can throw some of their nice fire magic arrows over here. Beautiful breath attack as well, just roasting out a couple of those Chaos Spawn. And here comes another Searing Doom. Should do some really good damage to those Illyrian Reavers. Searing Doom is actually pretty solid against cavalry units in general. Bombardments, I think, are pretty underrated against cav, but yeah, it is enough to rout the Reavers off, but the Star Dragon's just such a force of nature here. Basically a one-man army in this kind of surround. Yeah, Chaos Knights get a great charge there, just shattering those Reavers and what remains of like the Puremain Company, but one thing I can do is use these Handmaidens to fight the Chaos Knights in melee. You can see they're kind of pulling away here. Throw an Enfeebling Foe on them. Not to mention the Handmaidens will be shooting the whole time as well, right? Like they're going to be using their bows to kind of pick away here and there, pick off a model here, a model there. Another Fiery Convocation going to rip up a couple of these very tattered Demon Spew. Looks like some Marauders there as well. Just free up that Star Dragon to come take the final engagement. Here it comes. Teclis has got a net, and he's going to use it to net down these Chaos Knights, and then the Hero Squad finally is able to get direct contact, start to finish off some of these Chaos Knights. You can see the Star Dragon's making its way over here. Lands to try and finish off some of those spawn. My opponent's going to go ahead and admit defeat there, as it was pretty much over. And yeah, relatively quick one. I've got one more Lizardmen versus Chaos, actually, to show you, but that's it for High Elves. 106 kills and some chevrons. I believe I started with 1 or 2 chevrons on the Star Dragon, so those aren't all earned, but most of them are. 44 for the Pure Main Company. They're okay here. Their armor sundering is decent. They just kind of a little bit expensive for what you get out of them. That's true of White Lions in general, to be honest. I think White Lions really ought to be like 700, 750 points rather than 800. Make them a lot more cost effective. But anyway, I really like the Handmaidens with Teclis and the Star Dragon. Kind of the 4 of them in tandem is a very, very strong kind of core to your army, and then you build around that. Here, just with some additional mobility and kind of supporting units, we're able to deal relatively well. This Chaos build is pretty decent also. The Chaos Knights with Lances can be a little bit rough against the High Elves. I do sort of see what he was going with, though, with the very high charge bonus. If they get a good charge on pretty much any High Elf unit, you can remove their martial prowess almost immediately. Definitely see what he was going for there. The Forsaken I'm not nearly as much of a fan of. The Demon Spew are okay, but I think you cut them out for just regular shielded Chaos Warriors here instead. Yeah, Spawn are also a pretty decent pick in this matchup, although I would like to have seen the Weird Spawn for the armor sundering. Darthrail also not a bad pick, so definitely a decent build. I just would probably cut these 2 Chaos Knights with Lances and maybe bring some other units in their place. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to the next replay. As I mentioned, it's going to be Lizardmen versus High Elves. So not Lizardmen versus High Elves, Lizardmen versus Chaos. So let's get to it. And for the next game against Chaos, we've got the other powerhouse caster, and what is, in my opinion, the best lord in the game, Mazdamundi here on Slock. We've got a Dread Saurian, a whole line of Skinks, Star Chamber Guardians, cohort of Sotek, a couple Skink Javs, and 2 Razordon hunting packs. As for the Warriors of Chaos, they've got a bunch of Chaos Warriors with great weapons, who would have thought, some Marauders, Kolek, and it looks like another Shaggoth. Yep, a Lore of Metal Sorcerer, a couple Poison Warhounds, and some Marauders. Mirror Guard, yeah, I already said the Marauders, but anyway. We're going to open things up with these guys here, the Razordons, getting some nice volleys, doing some decent skirmishing early on with Kolek and his Shaggoth friend here. We're going to take a few hits, though, so we'll definitely want to pull away from that engagement. You can see Mazdamundi and the thick Dread Saurian gonna be just straight up going in, no qualms about it. With the buffs, especially with that Harmonic Convergence and with Apotheosis, I'm really not scared whatsoever about taking this engagement. Pretty nice lightning strike right on that thick block of Skink Cohort Javelins, but they're gonna still throw all of their Javelins into Kolek there. And yeah, looks like another Searing Doom gonna be dropped on the Cohort of Sotek there. Pretty good stuff, but here comes the Ruination of Cities. Yeah, it actually does a lot of friendly fire to those Skink Cohort, but that's fine. Cohort of Sotek didn't take too much, and now we pop that Refuse to Die, and we can throw the Banishment here as well. Meanwhile, the buffs and heals are just going on the Saurian and Mazdamundi. We'll keep it nice and close for this just giant Kaiju battle. You can see that Apotheosis there from Mazda. And yeah, Kolek's routed already. How about that? Dragon Ogre Shaggoth also took quite a bit of damage in that engagement, and all of these units get broken up. And look at this. These guys down to 49 unit models, but they only 800 HP. Because of that Refuse to Die mechanic, they were able to retain a lot of their unit models, and now we'll be able to chase a lot of these units very effectively here. We use the hunting packs just to fight the Warhounds in melee. That's totally fine. You're not going to win very quickly, but the Warhounds, because of the armor, aren't going to do a lot of damage to the hunting packs, so I'm not really too worried about that. Mazdamundi, though, might take some damage here from Kolek. He takes a slap there, but, of course, he's got that Apotheosis. It's very little worry to a big old thick boy Mazdamundi. And yeah, I actually think that the Warriors of Chaos might be one of the weaker factions in the game right now. I still need to play a lot more games to truly figure that out, but it just seems to me that they're in a little bit of a strange place. Like they could maybe use, I don't know if it's like more Lords of Magic or exactly what, and I mean obviously we're expecting a Chaos rework with Game 3, certainly, because since that will very likely be centered around the Demons of Chaos and everything, but I really do hope the Warriors of Chaos get some kind of campaign rework, or maybe some new units or a new lord or something before that time, because they definitely need it. You can see, though, the bounce power has clawed back towards even, as Mazdamundi has taken some damage here. The Dread Saurian's also taken some damage. Star Chamber Guardians are going to take some damage from Kolek, but diving into them like that was pretty risky. He also gets hit quite a few times by his own Searing Doom there, and Harmonic Convergence on those Star Chamber Guardians puts them to 63-72 in terms of stats, and they pretty much shatter Kolek at that point. So yeah, pretty rough stuff. Mazdamundi, what does he have? 90 charge? No, 70 charge bonus, which is absolutely massive. You can see the Razordons fighting those Chaos Poison Warhounds. The other Razordons going to throw their barbs at this unit of Chaos Warriors with great weapons here, who normally would trade pretty decently against the Temple Guard, but with that side-shotting there, that's not going to be very comfortable. Not to mention the Temple Guard can get some more magic support. You can see the Saurian chasing around. Oh, man. Chasing around that Dragon Ogre Shaggoth in the background. This is what you Lizardmen fanboys love to see, right? Just absolutely smashing the Warriors of Chaos. And yeah, speaking of Warriors of Chaos, they are actually getting routed, the ones with great weapons here. And looks like the Shaggoth also gets routed. Trying to push these hunting packs through to get secure from these hounds, but it's really not too much of an issue. We've got this thing pretty much tucked away at this point. Another Harmonic Convergence on these Star Chamber Guardians. And that is game. So well played to my opponents. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this one. Relatively quick one today. Two quick battles with the Elves and Lizardmen, both powerhouse casters, greater arcane conduit, just unleashing, not necessarily, well, I guess they both have some pretty intense AoE effects. Certainly Mazamundi more so than Techless. Of course, Techless is maybe about half the cost, so there's that. But yeah, both of them with, heals and nets and other buffs and debuffs that just synergize so well with the rest of the army. Really excellent casters. We did leave out Marathi today in terms of the Greater Arcane Conduit casters, but that's because she's a filthy dark elf and nobody likes her. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.